Today, we say enough. Even war has rules.
Doctors Without Borders made it clear, even in war, some things just aren't done. On October 3rd, the U.S. military repeatedly bombed the Charities hospital in the city of Kunduz. The airstrikes killed 22 civilians, including 12 of the Charities staff members.
This was not just an attack on our hospital. It was an attack on the Geneva Conventions. This cannot be tolerated.
Doctors Without Borders has accused the U.S. of committing a war crime. Under the Geneva Conventions, countries like the United States have agreed that patients in hospitals are all considered civilians. That means it's against the rules of war to kill them. But the U.S. isn't part of the International Criminal Court, which prosecutes war crimes, and that means Doctors Without Borders is unlikely to get what it wants. So what happened in Kunduz? How could the Americans lay waste to a hospital?
On Saturday morning, our forces provided close air support to Afghan forces at their request. But to be clear, the decision to provide aerial fires was a U.S. decision made within the U.S. chain of command. The hospital was mistakenly struck, and we would never intentionally target a protected medical facility.
In late September, the Taliban raided Kunduz. The head of Doctors Without Borders USA says the hospital has been treating people from both sides of the battle. The bombing of the Kunduz hospital seems to have got America's attention.
And that if necessary, the president would implement changes that would make tragedies like this one less likely to occur in the future.
But these sorts of tragedies have happened before. The war in Afghanistan began in 2001 as part of the U.S. Operation Enduring Freedom. To date, some estimates suggest that at least 26,000 civilians have been killed, and almost 30,000 have been wounded. And the UN reports that in the first 6 months of this year alone, almost 1,600 people died and more than 3,300 were injured. It says pro-government forces were responsible for 1 in 6 of the deaths. A U.S. research group called Project on Defense Alternatives says one of the reasons for this is that this war has been focused on what's called regime removal. The U.S. and its allies have often targeted the homes of suspected Taliban leaders, areas often heavily populated with civilians. An American organization of doctors against the proliferation of nuclear weapons says that inexact reporting makes it impossible to know how many civilians have died and who killed them. But they also have noted that the U.S. carried out at least 2,900 attacks in 2010 alone. And in 2009, a NATO-led airstrike in Kunduz killed at least 100 civilians. Neither the U.S. nor NATO keep a public record of the number of people they kill in war.